Well, thank you, everyone, and welcome to Let's Chat MetaPWR, where we're going to hear the story of Veronica Arnold. Veronica's here to share her story of how MetaPWR's helped her go from being diagnosed with PTSD, clinical depression, postpartum depression, and generalized anxiety disorder to discovering a journey of health and wellness. And I'm sure that you'll elaborate on that for us, Veronica. And you've also had a very successful career in corporate. Now you've got the best job in the world, so you have to tell us more about that. And I know that you're telling me that your health and wellness journey has been heavily influenced with these different diagnoses. So let's start with what was life like for you just prior to taking MetaPWR, if you want to give us a bit of an insight.
Yeah, sure. So oils for me, and doTERRA oils in particular, found their way into my life when I just turned 50. And I had been going through a difficult time. I kind of came out of a bit of a crazy time, and oils were there to kind of catch me. And they've been a big part of my toolkit for wellness for these last 6 years or so. So always grateful for that. MetaPWR, well, often when there's major transitions happening in my life, like the big move here, we sold our house, our child moved out of home to a new place. We're building a house while camping with some in-laws. So big changes. And when that happens, sometimes my emotional well-being can take a bit of a wobble. And MetaPWR came in just at the right time for that. So when I say that I think it's been keeping me sane, it's been definitely helping me, my mood, and staying in a really positive place, not going to any of those dark corners, which I might have gone to in the past, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so you certainly don't do things by halves, hey?
No, Peter and I are really good at change. We like change.
And was it something that you'd heard that you thought, okay, MetaPWR is going to help me in for these reasons, or
I
what
had no idea. When it came out in the US, I tried it, and I'm really inconsistent. Like LLV, I started that Lifelong Vitality a long time ago, but I was really on and off with it. And MetaPWR, very similar. And then at leadership, I was sitting with Deb, Rebecca was there, and a few others, and we were talking about MetaPWR, and they were talking to me about their experiences. So I tell you what, that really changed. Well, it opened my eyes to what it could do. So Peter and I started being a bit more consistent about LLV and MetaPWR, and yeah, it really did make a difference. I think there are some noises about it being good for people's mental health, that cognitive effect had been kind of downplayed a lot. And we were only just starting to see that effect happening now that people have been taking it for a while.
Which is shows the importance, of sharing our stories, which is why it's so good that you're on tonight, Veronica. I know it took a little bit of bravery and a little bit of prodding and convincing, but thank you so much. So can you talk us through then, you're saying consistency was a little bit hard for you. What helped? What made it become a habit?
I think a couple of things, knowing the difference it was making to people and having that belief. You know how we borrow belief sometimes when we don't have it. So that was good. Pete and I did bring a prop. Can you see these? They're half at the moment because this half's been popped out for us to go to Perth. But we actually grabbed these for $15 from our pharmacy. They're really funky. So we've got a his and hers. So I load those up with LLV, and MetaPWR sits in a little canister next to it. So it's there every morning, which helps with consistency. And then you start to snowball and see the results. And it's good from there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so seeing it visually helps you, having it
absolutely
convenient. Yeah,
because like a lot of people my age, like I'm 56, and I definitely am from a generation that has a lot of mistrust around supplements, expensive loo water, all that kind of stuff. I hear that all the time, and I definitely believed it, and so did Pete. And it really took a bit, I think, for us to get out of that mind space and into one that actually this is making a difference, not only to mental health, but also, it's the thing that everybody else has talked about. So skin, hair, nails, you start to see it all happen. And it's like, ooh,
I was going to comment on how long your hair is, just seeing
Oh,
you.
thank you.
Yeah, it's grown.
Well, Kim knows, she's on this call, how different my hair has gone. It's gone. I used to have a number 4. I went through a stage where it was a number 4. It's so easy, and now, yes, it's a little longer than that.
Yes. Just from when I last saw you online, Veronica, that's quite amazing. Is Kim your hairdresser or close friend?
I cut my own hair, Anna.
Oh, do you?
I do. So, I leaving Brisbane, I left my hairdresser of, 10 years. And you know how traumatic that is when you have to change. And I haven't been brave enough to find one yet. So when I'm in Brisbane, I get my hair cut. Otherwise, I just do this weird YouTube internet thing where you kind of stick it up and trim it. It's good to go.
There you go. The secrets are out on this.
Yeah, they are.
So let's talk about, your hair and your nails reflects the health from the inside out, doesn't it? So
yeah, it does.
MetaPWR's helped you with your general health all over wellness?
Yeah, definitely. So Pete and I, Peter's in his early 60s. I'm in my late 50s. Neither of us take any other medication. And that's pretty unusual for our age group. Our doctor keeps, every year we go for our blood tests and everything, and they're like, "You're still not on anything else?" We're like, so that's been really helpful. And I think the combination for me, the pairing of the LLV with the MetaPWR's really kind of made that difference, because you're getting those micronutrients with the beauty of MetaPWR. So I think that's what's really helped. We don't get a lot of flus and colds and stuff anymore. Those around us might, but we don't. And we lean on all of our oils, including those things, to keep us healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were taking Lifelong Vitality and then you added MetaPWR into that.
Yeah, basically consistently, probably both landed at the same time, because around about that was Leadership January, when we all went down to our little spot. January, that was the time when it kind of solidified. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had been on and off LLV for, I've been with doterra 6 years, so it would be on and off for 6 years, depending on how I was going.
And do you notice a difference when you stop taking it?
Yeah, stop. Yeah, it's not a good idea, right?
Not a good idea. I was wondering
but sometimes we just think, life's going along well and you forget, right?
Yeah. And I think you're right. We've got this generational concept of, I don't need vitamins.
Yes.
I get it from my foods. We can convince ourselves of all of that until we actually try it and realize, oh, wow, wasn't feeling like it beforehand. Yeah.
I think many, some people can, if they're really vigilant about what they're eating and have an excellent diet, but I'm just, hand on heart, things get busy and I forget about food. And I think this is a great way of knowing you've got that baseline, hey?
Yeah.
So no matter whatever's happening, that's there. And I must admit, with MetaPWR, I've noticed that because I've moved when I take it from morning to night and stuff, but lately, because things have been a bit intense, I've been taking 2. I think you were the one who convinced me that one may not be enough on certain days.
I said it nicely, did I?
It's all going a bit crazy. I think I should go to another one.
Are you having them at the same time or bookending the day with them? How do you take them?
Well, I was doing morning. I definitely do LLV morning. Try and take that with breakfast. I find that a bit easier. With MetaPWR, it's really moved. The whole thing about when we did the MetaPWR challenge, understanding that maybe at night would be a bit better, but it kind of moves. At the moment, it tends to be, if I do one a day, it'll be around about 7 or so at night. Yeah.
And have you noticed a difference to your sleep?
I think that for me, my sleep, I lean on quite heavily on copaiba or copaiba, however you say it, copaiba, and lavender peace and all these other goodies. So sleep for me is pretty good. I haven't had a lot of trouble. I've been blessed in that way. So no real difference.
Because you're already supporting yourself with those other oil blends and so forth.
Yeah, and I think when we've talked about me having this chat before, I haven't, because I do rely on so many of the other oils. I was like, is it really making a difference? But it took me, I think, these 6 months to realize that MetaPWR is actually making a difference
Yeah.
in its own way. It's crazy, isn't it, how it affects us all so differently.
So differently. So tell us a bit more how it's affecting you, how it's helping you.
Yeah, so I think it's about mood for me. So I think I can be very up and down, and I feel like my MetaPWR for me takes those, there's not so much of a dip. So Advantage in particular, when I'm taking it regularly, once or twice a day, my mood is better. And I notice if I don't take it and I've forgotten it for once, doing whatever, and I suddenly realize I think, oh, I'm a bit cranky. I think I should go and take a MetaPWR. So that's definitely, I think, the extra kind of special difference it's made for me.
Which is remarkable that you notice it, because it's hard to measure that sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
We can measure body weight or, measurements, body measurements.
Yeah.
But when we're looking at mood, so how do you journal, or you just reflect? You can sense it in yourself?
Yeah, I have a whole toolkit that I use to try and support myself. Journaling's definitely a big part of that. And every night I will journal what's been going on, and do the old gratitude and all those kind of things. And included in that is definitely how I'm feeling. And I think while we were doing that challenge, where are my words today? Journaling was a really good way of just taking it every day and writing down what effects that you feel, noticing when you miss it, what is missing, like how is your mood that particular day, has helped. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's in a routine now. I don't think I'm going to let it go now. My 2 boxes are the first thing that go on our order every month, right?
Absolutely.
About the second.
Good to have it. Good to have a backup as well, isn't it? So you don't run out.
It is. I've got an extra box, yes.
So tell us, did you and Pete like the taste of it when you first started?
Oh, Pete's great. He'll swallow anything, but I didn't enjoy it. I'm not a great swallower of pills, which is one of the things that I had an issue with lifelong vitality about. And I didn't like the taste of MetaPWR. So I was chucking a little bit of juice in it. So I'd have my LLV with some juice, because I can't do that with water either. Such a baby. And then there'd be a little bit left, and I'd whack the MetaPWR in. Now, honestly, Anna, it just goes down without an issue. So I've got so used to that taste. And I think also lifelong vitality goes down without an issue. I'm assuming it's either I'm used to it, or my body's just going, yes, please, and knows that it's good for it and it's ready to take it in. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
We've got Deborah here saying, yes, she's double doses as well with the collagen. Yeah. And never wants to run out. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Deb's the one that runs around and takes hers like a flipping.
The Sherby. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh my goodness. I haven't been that brave. I take it like a shot, but yeah, I haven't been that brave.
Yeah. And then just altering with what time of day that suits you.
Yeah.
When we chatted before the call, you were telling me that a lot of your friends and peers have complained about aches and pains.
Yeah.
And hating their lives. Just reading your message here now, and taking meds. So you're noticing it's quite a different lifestyle when you turn to natural. Well,
yes. Yeah. I think for the two of us, we have always been about, if there's an issue, I am so appreciative of modern medicine. There's no anti-doctors here. But what I do think is that when there's an issue, we always look to see if there's something to do with our lifestyle, and that we can change it without having to take medication. And that's kind of served us well. So, that's where the oily toolkit comes in terms of emotional health, having those tools like journaling, support, community groups are really helpful. And your physical health, it's all about just what you eat and what you do. If you don't move it, you lose it, right?
Yeah, it is all of those pillars of health. You're right.
Yeah. And this is the age group when, if you haven't made those changes by now, things are starting to stack up and you're starting to feel the effects of it. Yeah. And you can just see it in all the data, right?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
those around you, like you said, that's what you know. Yeah.
Yeah. And for my mental health, managing stress is my biggest trigger. So managing that is really important to me. And it always has been for my whole life. So that's kind of a not negotiable for me. So whatever I have to do to manage my stress, that only serves me to live a better life. So that's, all the basics: food, friendships, yoga, moving my butt, whatever it takes, using my oils.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. Sleeping well, which you already have under control.
Yeah. I mean, we all go through phases, don't we? I do have the odd bout of insomnia. I'm not perfect. But I've learned that if that happens, just to go with it, get up, have a lovely drink of not alcohol though. That's gone. And just read a book or watch a bit of TV or whatever it might be that you love to do. Put on some vetiver and don't stress about that because it will pass.
Did you notice any change in your eating habits since you started MetaPWR?
Yeah, I think LLV and MetaPWR together has definitely, I'm a carb craving girl. I mean, if there's an addiction, I will go for an addiction, whatever it might be. And I have a salty cheese and carbs are my thing. And I definitely don't have that anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't. I don't have that need. In a very, very stressful time, I will find myself going into the kitchen and looking for something and go, oh no. Which is interesting to even just realize that you do that, right?
Oh.
But yeah, definitely less. So I think, my favorite, because I've also given up alcohol, which grapefruit helped me with, by the way. But my favorite used to be if everyone was out of the house, I'd get the bag of crisps and the bottle of red wine, and binge watch something. And yeah, that doesn't appeal to me at all anymore.
Isn't that amazing?
In fact, I tried not the red wine, but I tried the bag of crisps when the guys were out a while ago. And I just felt sick. I got halfway through a bag, which I would never have done that before. And went, yeah, no, I don't want any more. What's that about?
Oh, incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, acknowledging it is the first step, isn't it, when you've got an addiction or a craving, but to actually be able to overcome it effortlessly like that and test it out and not crave it. It's amazing.
Yeah, it just happened really slowly. Yeah, it wasn't a big struggle or anything. So yeah, I definitely think that helps. And those beadlets are amazing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just having those in your purse. Well, I must admit that I've got super mint, peppermint, and MetaPWR in my bag.
Okay, so that's something you pop throughout the day?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, those beadlets are amazing.
So good. So do you find yourself telling others about this, Veronica? I mean, you're the living example of it. Yeah. Yeah.
Who can not share, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's so I've been a wellness advocate now for 6 years. But depending on what's happened with life, on and off like a yo-yo. But moving here has just given me an opportunity to do it full time, and I absolutely love it. I mean, it's the best job in the world, right? Being able to share with people all these amazing products that we have that can really benefit their life.
It's so wonderful. And then you get to see that result for them too. Yeah.
Yeah, the best thing is when somebody just takes it and runs with it and you just watch over time kind of the oils and weave their magic, hey?
It's wonderful. So when you hear them, sharing their addiction or something, you've got an answer for it.
Yeah, and then everyone's different, right? So it's just respecting their journey and just seeing where they want to go with it. I think we're very much here to serve, and all we can do is offer, and then see where people go with it.
It's beautiful. Just reading here, Rebecca is also saying she also does a double dose now, being in menopause due to being in menopause, taking it at night and dealing with bipolar, having it every morning too. That's great to be aware of what the reason and when to have it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Everyone's different, right? You've got to find your own rhythm and what's right for you. And yeah, different things happen at different times. So it can change as well. You just it's like being a toddler, isn't it? You're used to the little routine that they have, and then they wake up the next day and everything's different. It's a bit like that with
Oh,
life
yeah.
too, isn't it? We go through we get into our rhythm, we're all good, and then something comes along and holy moly, things change and you've got to work out the new way forward.
So in terms of that, if you're talking to someone and you're hearing their story and you're thinking, oh yes, MetaPWR, you know, you can understand from your experience how it would help. Say
Yes.
they're still deciding, and what would be your advice to help them in that moment?
Well, we've got so many resources, haven't we? But at the end of the day, MetaPWR, you try it, you don't like it, it's a money back guarantee. I mean, it's no risk, right, Anna? If you don't like it, hello, you don't have to have it. You can just get your money back. Yay. And if it works, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So would you generally tell someone to give it a month or 3 months, or what
Yeah,
sort of time frame?
well, I definitely the full course for those 30 days. And then what I've been starting to do is once they grab it, to have a chat to them maybe in the first week that they have it, just to have a little chat about how they're going and how they're incorporating it into their day. You know, so many of the things that we introduce people to end up in a cupboard. Scary bottles that don't have their lids open, or scary MetaPWR that don't get, yes. Yeah, exactly. So just sit down, and it can be confronting, especially if you get the bundle and there's so many things. So have a little sit down or a Zoom call and just see how they're incorporating it in their day. If somebody's really, really overwhelmed, I'll go, right, well, what is the thing that you really need to deal with right now? Which of those products do you think you can incorporate really easily today? Is it the sachet you can rip off and throw it down? Is it the little capsule that you can pop with your meal? Is it just having your beadlets? Is it having the blend in the water, right? And just start there and work their way through. I mean, ultimately, I think people really need to give it like a 3-month go. I think that's because there are people here that, oh my goodness, their stories, it changes in a day, doesn't it? But I've never been like that. Things for me happen in little increments. So yeah, that's how I deal with our guys. But so far so good. Everyone seems to be doing really well.
And
Not
it's
too many people have sent it back.
No, it's nice to look at the long term also, like in a year's time, like
Oh yeah.
imagining what are the changes. So you're almost like,
Yeah.
give it a year and really see how it goes.
Of course you do. Of course you do. The longer, the better. The longer, the better. And then at some point, somebody is going to go and not take it for a couple of weeks and then go, oops. And then they'll start taking it again and they might never stop taking it. Yeah. Human beings. We're all a bit all over the shop, aren't we?
Yes, thank goodness for MetaPWR when especially in those moments. Veronica, it's been wonderful to hear. Now, was there anything else you wanted to share from what it's been like for you?
No, I think that's pretty good. I do want to say a big thank you to Deb and all those guys who are at that table at leadership that told me their stories, because that really did consolidate us giving it a really good shot. So big thank you to the girls, and also to you, Anna, for doing what you do. It's fabulous to be able to see everybody's different stories and be able to share that with the wider world. A lot of the people that I've talked to have found the different talks quite inspirational, and they've always found somebody that they can relate to and their story. So thank you for that.
Well, let's reflect all of that back to you, because you've just opened your heart and you've shared your story. And yeah, it's the same. It'll ripple on to someone you may not even know who they are, and they'll watch this and be inspired. So thank you, Veronica.